Once upon a time, there was a man named Archie who lived in a town with his family. He had a lovely wife, Sarah, and 2 kids, Mike and Mia. Archie worked as an architect, designing buildings and houses for a company. Mike and Mia were bright students and always earned good grades in their subjects. Even though their grandparents lived in another city, Archie, Sarah, Mike, and Mia all loved them very much. Archie had a busy work schedule during school vacations. He couldn't always take the kids to visit their grandparents. One day after the first period, Louis turned to Mike and said,
"Mike, do you have any plans for vacations?"
Mike sighed.
Dad's schedule is always so busy.
Louis smiled.
"I'm visiting my Aunt Kate. She is my mom's sister."
Mike smiled.
That's great.
That night during dinner, Mike said,
Dad, can we visit Grandpa and Grandma this vacation?
Mia added,
Yeah, Dad. We would love to go.
Archie sighed.
It's hard to say right now.
One day, Archie was called into his boss's office. Sir Johnson said,
"We have got an important project. Robert and Company needs an office design. Many companies are working with them, and if they like our design, it could open doors for more clients. Here's the file with all the project details."
Archie nodded, took the file, and left the office. That night, after dinner, Sarah made the tea. She brought it to the room where Archie was busy with work. Archie smiled, taking the cup. Then they came into the lounge. Mike said,
Dad, you look busy today.
Archie nodded.
Yes. A big company gave us an office design project. If they approve, more clients might come.
Sarah chatted with Archie as Mike and Mia focused on their studies. After submitting the office design project, Archie was busy with other tasks. One day, his boss called him.
"Good news, Archie. Robert and Company loved our design. This is a huge achievement for the company. It's all because of you."
Archie smiled and replied,
Thank you, sir. It's all because you trust me.
That evening, Archie returned home happily. Mike and Mia ran to hug him. He handed them chocolates. After dinner, Archie said,
The client approved my design. My boss is very pleased.
Mike and Mia cheered. Sarah smiled.
It's because of your hard work.
Archie smiled. Sarah added,
I will bake a cake tomorrow to celebrate.
The next day, Archie's boss called him into the office and handed him return tickets for an Australia tour.
You did an amazing job. Now, take a break and enjoy it with your wife.
Archie thanked him and left. That evening, he returned home happily. They cut the cake. And Archie announced,
My boss gave me return tickets for an Australia tour. For me and you, Sarah. Sarah.
Mike and Mia looked sad. Mike said,
Dad, you can drop me and Mia at Grandpa's. And you both can enjoy your trip.
However, he looked a bit uneasy. Archie and Sarah exchanged glances. That night, Sarah went to the kitchen for milk, but found Mike already there. He was pouring milk into glasses. She asked,
Why did you do this?
Mike replied,
Mom, we should start managing things ourselves, so we won't struggle without you.
Sarah watched him for a moment, then walked back. The next morning, she found both kids in the kitchen. Mike had made tea, and they were already having breakfast.
Mom, no need to prepare for us,
Mike said, grabbing his bag. Mia followed, and they headed to school. Archie, just waking up, saw everything. He and Sarah exchanged worried glances at their kids' unusual behavior. That night Mia sighed.
I can't believe Mom and Dad would go without us.
Mike replied.
but they are going.
Mike headed to the kitchen for water. Passing by his parents' room, he overheard.
Sarah. Our kids are hurt. I will refuse my boss tomorrow.
Mike quietly returned to his room. The next morning, at the breakfast table, Mike said,
Dad, Mia and I want you to go on the trip. We both will stay at Grandpa's house.
Archie and Sarah were surprised.
Are you sure?
Archie asked. Mike smiled.
Oh yes. Dad, we just want you both to be happy.
Archie said.
I love you, my son.
Vacations began, and they packed their bags. Archie and Sarah dropped Mike and Mia at Grandpa's house. Grandpa and Grandma were delighted to see them after so long. Grandma smiled.
We are so happy to have you.
Just then, Grandpa's huge black dog Joji with red eyes ran in. Mia shrieked and hid behind Grandma. Grandpa laughed.
He is friendly. Dear.
But Mia shook her head. Meanwhile, Joji stared at her, while Mike patted him lovingly. In the evening, Grandpa's friend, Mr. Michael, arrived with his grandson John and their dog, Roro. John quickly became friends with Mike and Mia, but Mia was afraid of Roro and Joji. Grandpa Michael smiled.
Don't be afraid, dear.
I don't like the dog,
Mia said. She ran to the kitchen to Grandma. After dinner, both Mike and Mia went to bed early. The next morning, Grandpa woke up Mike and Mia for jogging.
Come on, kids. Time to get up.
He said. Mia groaned.
but why?
Mike mumbled.
It's so early. Grandpa.
But Grandpa didn't listen. He pulled off their blankets and said,
No excuses. Let's go.
He took them for jogging, running ahead with energy. Mike and Mia struggled to keep up, breathless as they followed behind him. On returning home, Grandma smiled and said,
Now you two make breakfast.
Mia shouted.
No!
Mike asked.
What is this? Grandma!
She smiled.
I know you would enjoy it.
She guided them.
Mia. Pour the milk and blend the strawberries. Mike. Break the eggs and toast the bread.
Mia made a strawberry milkshake, while Mike prepared an egg sandwich. Grandpa joined them, and they all enjoyed breakfast together. One evening, Grandpa was at Grandpa Michael's home, while John came here. Mike told Grandma,
We want to make cards for Mom and Dad. Can I buy stationery?
Grandma smiled and gave him the money. Mike and John left. Mia came from her bath.
Where is Mike?
He went to the shop.
Grandma said.
I will go too.
Mia insisted. Grandma hesitated.
But how?
I know the way. It's just 2 streets away.
Mia said. Grandma replied.
All right.
Mia left but took a wrong turn. Soon, she was lost. Tears filled her eyes.
Oh no. I forgot the way.
She reached a park and sat on a bench. Meanwhile, Mike and John returned.
Where is Mia?
Grandma asked.
She wasn't with us.
Mike said, shocked.
She left after you.
Grandma replied worriedly. They rushed to John's house and told Grandpa and Grandpa Michael. Even Joji and Raro sensed the worry. Grandpa Michael patted them.
Go find Mia. Dear ones.
Joji and Roro dashed off. At home, Grandma paced back and forth. Worry etched on her face. Just then, both grandpas arrived with Mike and John. Grandpa gently said,
We will find her.
Soon, Joji and Raro found Mia in the park, her tears still falling. Seeing them, she ran and hugged them. They brought her home. Seeing her safe, everyone sighed in relief. Grandpa smiled.
See? Mia?
Mia hugged them and said,
Yes. Grandpa. They are my friends.
Moral: even those who seem scary can be friends.